Hello and welcome to your favorite show, Identities Umhlobo, your show that talks about our social, economic, and political issues. Date rape is a phenomenon in our society that has caused a lot of young women to get married young, that has caused a lot of unwanted teenage pregnancies. But does society understand what date rape is? Or we have embraced it without knowing the repercussions that it has caused in our society. To discuss this, I have the honor of hosting Dr. Mildred Mushunje from SAT. She's the director of SAT organization. And I have Mr. Boldwin Maposa, a youth advocate who is very passionate about sexual reproductive health rights of young people. And I have a young woman, Gamuchirai Machama, who's a young leader in our program, in the TaLI program, LEMHsters. I want to understand from you, Vakoma, what is date rape and under which circumstances does it occur?
Okay, thanks, Nyari, for having me on this program.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
I think this topic is very timely. It's a topic which is shrouded in a lot of secrecy.
Right.
I think what we need to understand first as a society is that date rape does happen.
Right.
And it's a sexual intercourse which is forced on a woman without obviously without her consent. And this can be with forced sexual intercourse with somebody that she knows. And it could be her boyfriend even. They go out on a date, and now we hear that their drinks are laced with drugs. So she becomes drugged, and then the boy takes advantage of that situation and that status,
Right.
and he forces himself on her.
Right.
So date rape is growing in Zimbabwe. And what we know is just the tip of the iceberg because people are just not talking about it.
You spoke about the circumstances of sometimes somebody that they know, sometimes they are laced even at a party. I think we've seen a lot of young women being laced their drinks, they become unconscious and they are raped. But also there is the phenomenon that I wanted to ask is it growing or are we just finding that people are talking about it so much? Is it the circumstances in which a lot of marriages have happened in our country?
I think it's a phenomena that we are talking more and more about.
Right.
So that could also reflect the growth. So
Okay.
it could be that it has always happened, but we didn't talk about it. So
Right.
now people are becoming more and more open about it. And what you described, where somebody goes to visit her boyfriend, for instance, and she stays out late,
Right.
and then she wants to go back home.
Yeah.
And the family chases her back and says, "No, you can't come back." So that results in a marriage which was not planned. Or the same girl goes to see her boyfriend, and the boyfriend says, "You are not going back home. You are now my wife."
Right.
And he just forces himself upon her.
Right.
And that the girl's family says, "We can't accept you back. So you have to go back, and you are forced into the marriage with that boy." So it's a date that started off as two people just going out. Maybe it was a planned outing, but ultimately this guy maybe has different ulterior motives.
I know a lot of girls who've been married as a result of aenda kumba kwemkomana wake avharirwa mumba mukomana uya umbata, and yet mukomana uya ngachizikamwa is known by the parents, by the sisters, and what can we do because it's so rampant? Vabereki have married off their children like that, avharirwa mumba overnight, atozobatwa mwana uyoyo.
Okay, so there are a couple of things that need to be done first. I mean, this is clearly a case of rape. It
Right.
has to be reported.
Right.
But again, our society, our culture, you'll find that families might not want to report such a case. So in that instance, it becomes very difficult to take the legal recourse because there hasn't been a report. So in such circumstances, I think we just need to be protective of these girls so that they don't find themselves in such a situation to start with. And I'll give an example of some of the work that we do at Southern Africa AIDS Trust, where we deal with sexual reproductive health rights issues.
Right, yeah.
We work with young women and boys and men. and we have mentoring sessions. We discuss topical issues, just like this date rape.
Right.
We talk and we give ideas, we give tips of how to protect yourself against such situations.
Right.
So my take is we just need to empower the young women with knowledge, with the wisdom to keep themselves in a protective space.
I want to come to you, Boldwin. You've just heard what Bakoma has said. Ndrukuvira nezvandirikunzwa kuti vana vanobatwa. It's something that we've seen over and over again, and it's abuse of girls. What causes men to force themselves on women, even when the women say no, especially young women?
Okay, as an advocate, I'm not going to pose a debate on why are we dwelling on the girl child more, because there are also circumstances of the boy child also being a victim or a survivor of death rape. But in the context of the boy versus the male, the girl, in most circumstances, it comes back to our socialization. There is what I can call the social behavioral myths that exist in our society, whereby male are grown to be sexual predators. And in most circumstances, when death rape cases do happen, you find that the perpetrator has already made a plan to do that and create an enabling environment for for sexual intercourse to happen, whether without or with consent. So we're going to unpack that as we go.
As we proceed. Gamu, as young women, you are exposed to this. What is your opinion on date rape?
Personally, inini zvandinofunga, it's big. Zvinowanzoitika nekuda pressure from our friends, say young women. Ndokuranga ndine friend yangu inenge ichiti, me and my boyfriend takazodai. Then wangu mukomana inini akazonditi Gamu so. Then I have to forcefully accept my conditions anenge aita nekuti handisida kuita sei, handisida kusaririra. That's why tiri kuzoengage in sort of things like this. Nekuti tinozopedza kana ndaita nhumbu ndenda kuti akandirepa uyu iye anga akuramba nhumbu yacho, and then ndozongoisa issue yekuti akandirepa nekuti ndakushaya zvekuita, asi ngeri pressure from my friends.
That's interesting. I think we'll come back to that point. I think you've both said important things. We're going to go on break, and when we come back, we're going to pick up from that note. Stay with us.